We're actually going to start this one in Mark chapter 12. Now, this passage is included in Matthew, it's included in Mark, and it's included in Luke. John didn't talk about it. And what's funny is the Pharisees, Jesus had already put the Sadducees in their place, and the Pharisees heard on. They're like, you know what, we're gonna kind of trick Jesus up. We're going to set a trap. Because they have commandments and rules that are set in different orders, and some are greater than others, and they're grouped in different ways. I don't understand all of that. It's not how it works for us, which is, I'm grateful. But he would sit there, and the Pharisees went to set a trap for Jesus. And I found it quite comical, because I'm a firm believer that if you know you're walking into a trap, it's not really a trap anymore. The person who's setting the trap is kind of flipped. And so Jesus, I think it's funny, the Pharisees are going to set a trap for Jesus and say, what's the greatest commandment? Yet they forget the fact, or they didn't know, or they ignored, or didn't want to admit, he's the dude who gave it to Moses. So he's asking, it's kind of like asking Henry Wright, have you ever heard about roots of disease? Or asking any of us from Being Health and those that are integrated, so do you know what the root is behind high blood pressure? Do you understand what this is? What do you understand this? I think it was funny to me. It was like they're going to set a trap, and Jesus sits back and says, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me clarify. And Jesus laid it all out. And one of the scribes came, this is going to start in verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, I think Matthew calls him a lawyer. I'm not going to go there. And perceiving that he had answered them well, had asked them, what is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered that the first of all the commandments is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. As I was reading this, I could hear Henry Wright's voice in the back of my head doing the holy God, and having to clean the mic afterwards. And how many conferences and Lord God revelations have we sat in where he would use the word God, and it just do this. And that 3 in 1, that they all come together in unity. That's the joy of this. That's the first thing that he reminds them. Now my brain's running memories. Verse 30, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with what? With all your heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So I want to backtrack a little bit. I was thinking about this, and you ever have your mind ever just kind of wonder? It's like, why was that the first one? What made this why did he say this is the first commandment? Because if you get this right, if we can love the Lord our God with all of our heart, our mind, our soul, and all of our strength, and that is where our focus is, everything else falls into place. Strife disappears, accusation disappears, rejection disappears, those feelings of depression, all of that just kind of await. Because why? I've loved the Lord thy God with all my heart, my mind, my soul, my strength, everything there. I'm like, I get it. This is the foundation. This is the beginning piece of all of this. For us to move forward on anything else, this is our starting point. I have to love the Lord thy God with all my heart.